My name is DanRam. And I am a global MC.
Good morning and welcome to Impact Crackdown 2019.
2 days here in Munich, Germany at Bits and Pretzels at the incredible ICM. We had between 5,000 and 8,000 people on the main stage.
We also have international speaker DanRam with us tonight.
My name is DanRam. I'm your MC and host for what is going to be an epic, epic day. Every light in this room is a person of significance, of value, of potential to rewrite the future. You guys go crazy for 100,000 US dollars. Come on!
Thank you, Mr. Sun. Gotcha, feeling good. Gotcha, feeling good. Gotcha, feeling good.
I would like to invite Dan to come on stage. Dan?
Woohoo! On stage, or rather on screen. Oh man, it's amazing to be here. Thank you so much, Sven, my friend. Thank you for having me. Can you, if you can see me and if you can hear me, can you find the thumbs up or the heart button? There we go. We got some blue hearts. We got some purple thumbs up. We got more blue hearts. Amazing. And we got some claps. We got some smiles. Look at all these emojis. Y'all are super reactionary to this, which is awesome. All right. If you can hear me, see me, we're ready to go. Sven, how much time are you going to give me? 10 minutes? 15 minutes? All right.
You can have an hour if you want to. Yeah.
Well, I want to make this interactive, okay? Because we're in this crazy world where instead of a high five or a hug or a handshake, you're meeting me on a screen. And I would love to connect with all of you. So let me chat for a little bit. Please have questions. And I think there's ways for you guys to also join. We can talk together on this. Let's make this as interactive. I don't want a single one of you to leave without some value today. That is my only goal. I'm not getting paid to do this. This isn't for fame or recognition. This is just so that we together as a community can gain today. We need to win today. That's the plan. That's the simple goal for today. So first, let me say hello to a few people. I'm looking at all the smiling faces. Dunput, Nivea, Debashish, Minar, Binny. I'm sorry if I'm messing up the pronunciation name. Casey Cooper, Alec. Who else? Sumit is in the house. Benoit is in the house. Yogesh. You guys are great. Thank you for watching today. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for being part of this. Ooh, a Wojciech just joined. I even pronounced it right, I think. Wojciech. Where are you from, Wojciech? Let me know. But thank you all for being here. Today, we're going to talk about how to flex your change muscle. And let me start with why this topic is important for me. I am the son of an Indian diplomat. What that means is that every 2 to 3 years, my entire childhood, I had to move. I had to change to a new country, a new city, a new house, a new bedroom, new posters on the wall, new school, which meant new friends, which meant new teachers, which meant new activities, which meant even new educational systems altogether. Everything changed constantly. Every 2 to 3 years, I was always in a space of new. It wasn't a choice, it was necessary. And I think it's safe to say that we're all in a place of new right now. We didn't ask for it, we didn't want it, we may have not been prepared for it, but here we are. It's a brand new world. And so, what do you do? I'm gonna start with philosophy, and I wanna get a practical. To be honest, the philosophy doesn't excite me that much. I like the practical stuff. But I think it's sometimes nice to look back and go, what helped with all of that change, right? Let go of the past, engage with the present, position for the future. I want to say that one more time, mostly because I forgot what I just said, so I'm going to repeat it for myself. Let go of the past, engage with the present, position for the future. So for example, when I was 12 years old, I was living in India, and I was not the cool kid. I was the opposite of a cool child. And when I moved to Zimbabwe in Southern Africa, I had no idea how do you spell Zimbabwe, where is Zimbabwe, what is Africa, no idea. This is the world before Instagram and Google. Like, what kind of world is that? I know, I don't look that old, but that's the world I was in. So I couldn't just Google Zimbabwe. You literally just show up like we are right now, showing up to this COVID-19 world that we live in right now. And then what you do is you have to let go of the past. A part of me missed the world of India. Even though I wasn't cool, it was familiar. It was comfortable. It was known, right? And that's where you kind of start, is with what you know. But you have to say goodbye to it. Otherwise, you cannot engage with the amazing opportunity that was Zimbabwe. I mean, how many of you lived in Zimbabwe? Probably nobody, right? But do comments if you've lived in Zimbabwe. And so Zimbabwe, though, gave me all these brand new opportunities. We had a spectacular music program, like an unbelievable music program. Before that, I could play the piano, classical piano, but that was it. When I was living in Zimbabwe, so my second point, engage with the present, I learned the saxophone, I learned the bass, I learned a little bit of drums. In my church, I started playing the pipe organ, I started singing. And the beautiful part is, without knowing it, simply by engaging the present, I positioned for the future. Because then when I moved, when I was 17 years old, to Morocco in North Africa, they had no music program. But guess who had showed up to all the music classes? Guess who had learned and grown as a musician over those years? And guess who started the music program in that school? My entrepreneurial journey began as a kid simply by letting go of the past, what was India, engaging with the present, which was Zimbabwe, and positioning for the future, which is by taking the opportunities of the now. And by doing that, I was actually positioning myself. And you saw in my video, I still perform, I still train, and I still play with a band and stuff. And it happened because of something that started when I was 12 years old. I didn't know it then, but I was positioning for the future at the age of 12. So the philosophy of all of this is let go of the past, engage with the present, and by doing so, you will position for the future most of the time without realizing that you are. Now, I used a non-startup example because the situation that we're in right now is not just professional, it's personal as well. None of us have spent all this time at home all the time. None of us have probably suffered as much with the uncertainty and some of the anxieties that come with this space. And just in case you think I am not in the same boat as you, think again. If you saw the video, my whole career for the last couple of years involved events, which involves flying and tons of people. Guess what are two things you can no more do anymore? Flying and tons of people. So I've had to completely start from zero. Like, it's awesome to have that show reel of me with Obama and Jessica Alba and, Reid Hoffman. But right now, none of that's happening. I am literally in my bedroom office talking to a screen. And I so wish we were in the same room together. So this is personal and professional. And the philosophy of it, and I'm going to move from philosophy to practical, and I'm going to go directly into the startup world at this point, is let go of the past, engage with the present, position for the future. I've said that like 5 times, so now's a test. We'll see how good this audience is. In the comment section, I'm looking at the general chat section. I want to see if someone can type that in right now. What are the 3 philosophies of adapting? All right, so Vinay's got, and Sumit's got, let go of the past, live the present. All right, Sumit, you're winning so far. And then Rashid says, embrace the past. Ooh, does it embrace the past? I think it was let go of the past. Let go of the past. Good. So most of you got the first one. Let go of the past. Engage in the present. And what do you do about the future? Position for the future. Awesome. Super. We got it. We got it. We got it. Excellent. Position for the future. Exactly. So Excellent stuff, guys. Teamwork. We're learning together. This, to me, is the key to adapting. You will not enjoy the opportunities, and that's the word I'm choosing to use, opportunities, not decay, recession, pain, opportunities. You cannot engage with the opportunities of the now if you don't let go of the past. I love that I used to have this life as an MC. Let go of it. Because I cannot engage with this if I keep expecting for Emirates Airlines to go, okay, Dan, we're going to fly you now to Malta. That might be 2021, to be honest, before that happens. What am I going to do now? So you got to let go of the past and you embrace the present, which for me is this kind of stuff. Virtual conferences, live streams every single day. I have been doing a live stream. Sven has joined me for some of those, which has been so much fun. Literally using a basic laptop, I'll show you what I'm using right now. You see this? A $10 microphone off of Amazon, right? The wall of my room. And I create a little bit of backdrop with some random vases and things. And I've been live streaming every single day. And you can watch, it's on YouTube. The first episode, terrible compared to the last one. Episode number 42 was on Tuesday, and we had a benefit concert. We had 55 musicians, 15 acts from 5 continents coming together. Do you think I could have achieved that on live stream if I didn't start with this microphone, with this laptop, with this wall? No. So let go of the past, embrace the present, and by doing so, you position for the future. Because now the crazy story is HP has booked me, PwC has booked me, BMW has booked me, and I'm not saying this to boast. I'm saying I had no idea what I was doing. I'm admitting it publicly. I just embrace the present, but by doing that, you're signaling to the world, I can, I will, watch me, I'm gonna learn, and we're gonna do this together. And now they're coming to me. What are the other speakers doing? They're still waiting for Emirates to give them a ticket so they can fly again. What are the other event organizers doing? Waiting till we can open those conference centers. What am I doing? Let go of the past, embrace the present, position for the future. Boom! Now, let's get to the practical stuff. Startups, I love you guys, and I'm gonna tell you why. My first startup was built in a recession, so I understand what is happening right now. I'm not oblivious to it. I'm not just a motivational speaker. This is just how I always am. I'm always driven this way, but I know the pains of this time because in 2011, I graduated from an MBA program. Now, mind you, I have an economics degree from Yale University. I have an MBA from Trinity College. I was told that I could achieve anything, I could do anything. They all lied to me because in 2011, I inherited a recession. I was released into the world of post-Celtic Tiger era. So if any of you know about Ireland and the story, there was this huge increase in growth. It was amazing. And then this crash. And I inherited the crash. And so that was the world that I started building a business, not voluntarily, but out of necessity. To be honest, I wanted a job. I wanted security. I wanted perks. I wanted peers. I wanted resources. I wanted all the joys of a good company. And I didn't get it. So what did I do? I was forced into building a business in a recession. Here are a couple of things I learned. And we're going to get practical right now. I'm going to tell you 5 things that I found really, really important. And what I would love is for you guys in the chat section to add 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's together make a list of 10. I'll do the hard work. I'll get 50% of the work in here. And I'll give you 5 things that every startup should do. And I'd love you guys to share what your additional tips will be. And let's make a good list. At the end of today, the session, let's make a 10 top tips manual for startups in COVID-19. All right. So here we go. Number 1. Oh, and some of these might be controversial, but you can tell from my personality, I don't care. I'm just going to say what I feel. You can agree or disagree, right? That's the beauty of life. Everyone's got different opinions. So I'm just going to tell you, and you can decide what to do. Number 1, don't focus on cash flow. It's something I realized. I could sit there knocking on people's doors all day long. Please, 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 buy my product. Please, 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 take my service. But one thing about recessions is people are scared to spend money. It's just human psychology, and it's really hard to break that. So for me, don't focus on cash flow, focus on innovation. And here's why. One of the things I learned in economics is think of opportunity cost. It is not the cost of what you're doing, it's the cost of what you could be doing. So when things are going really well in life, I feel you should focus on plan A. Spend all your time and energy on plan A, because this is your cash cow. This is what's making you money. And the opportunity cost of innovating then is dangerous, because you're taking some of the money that you could be investing into the cash cow and putting it into R&D and putting it into research and putting it into innovation, when you could be just making multiples. Right now, you cannot be spent, I think you cannot be making that much money. So the opportunity cost has actually dropped. Now is the time to work on plan B, plan C, plan D, and think about other verticals. Those things that you had discussed in the boardroom, and you're like, okay, someday when the stakes are not so high, when the risk is not so high, we'll do it. Today's that day. You have nothing to lose. Now's the time to innovate and try stuff. So that's the first thing I'm going to say is don't focus on cash flow, focus on innovation. The second thing I'm going to say is conserve cash. It's a tough one, but don't waste money on marketing. Don't waste money on like customer acquisition costs. Don't waste money on like expansion plans. Don't waste money. By expansion plans, I mean like now's not the time to build that office in Dubai. All right. I know you want to have an office in a skyscraper, but now's not the time for that. I'm talking to myself because that's what I did. I was building my office in Abu Dhabi. I still am building it. We haven't finished it. That's the problem. And this is like a bad time to be doing that. So yeah, I think it's really important that the costs that can be avoided or delayed, you do that. That said, can I just make a emotional appeal? Pay attention to people at the bottom of the value chain. And what I mean by that is if you have vendors that are really at the bottom of the pyramid, take care of them, right? This is an important time that we got to take care of each other. So I'm not saying being ruthless. I'm not saying just, fire half your staff. I'm not saying don't pay your suppliers. I'm saying pay attention to the people at the bottom of the pyramid. Even in my own team, I'll just be honest here. My team in Ireland, the government take care of them, right? They have good €350 per week that is going to their bank account. That's good money. My team in India, zero supports. So my team in India, I take care of all of them. All of them are getting paid. Every single one of them are getting paid, full salaries, no deductions, nothing. But my guys in Ireland, I'm like, all right, if the government's going to support you, take it, because we could use that money right now, right? I'm not like none of the events that I was hosting are happening anymore. So whatever costs can be deferred. Now, this was a conversation I had with them. It was not an announcement I made. It was a conversation I had with them, which brings me to my third thing, right? So the first one was don't focus on cash flow, innovate. My second one is conserve your cash. My third one is communication. Now is not the time to disappear. I don't care what vertical you're in. I don't care what industry you're in. Do not disappear. Do not become invisible. Do not fall off from the competitive world of business. Show up, communicate, be a part of what is happening. And by communicate, I don't necessarily mean sell. Now, Sven might disagree because he loves to sell. But when I say communicate, I mean call your clients. I called up every single event organizer I worked with last year, and I was just like, hey, literally a phone. Hey, how are you? Like as a person, as a human, how are you? Is everything okay? How's work? How's your family? Are you safe? Are you well? And I didn't do this to sell, but the beautiful part is it built a personal connection. So then they checked up the following week and they're like, Dan, how are you? And then like 3 or 4 weeks later, they said, Dan, we're actually considering doing a virtual event. Would you be interested in that? Now, I did not reach out for work, but when you show up, when you communicate with your partners, with your investors, with your customers, it builds empathy. It builds relationship. And that is really important right now. So I'm not saying communicate to sell. I'm saying communicate to connect. because the people that stand by you during the hardest times are the people that you can lean on in the good and the bad times. This is when you really find people's personality. If I can smile in the midst of uncertainty and chaos, you know that I can smile when I'm on stage. But not everyone who smiles on stage can be smiling right now. So now's the time, and this is my 5th point, we'll get to that. But my 3rd point is communicate. Communicate with investors, communicate with your customers, communicate with your suppliers, communicate with your clients. It's really important. Send an email out, send a WhatsApp message out, do an actual phone call, and connect with people. Now, the 4th one will sound familiar, but I'm going to put a spin on it. And the familiar part is you have to position for the world after post-COVID-19, because there will be a world after this. And I don't want to speculate what kind of world it is. I don't want to speculate when it happens, right? We can leave that to the prophets and the priests. It's not my interest, which is going to be my spin. My spin is this: forget long-term, forget medium-term, only focus on short-term. It is the only thing we know. If I tell a client, yeah, you know, when things get better, when I bring my team back together, we would love to do some social media content for you. Would you be interested? They're thinking, I don't even know what's happening next week or the week after. Like in India, where I am right now, on the 18th, the government decides this new lockdown procedures. And I went to a studio before this because I wanted to see if I can upgrade my level from my home office to a studio. And that's everything he said was, you know, if on the 18th the government allows it, then my tech team can come and set it up. Do you think he and I worked a deal today? I mean, I was ready. I had a wallet. I was ready. There was no deal because it was all this, and it was only 3 days away. But that's the world we live in right now. Is if it's not short term, it can't happen. So don't pitch to investors one day or when things are better, then I will 10x you. No, go, what are you going to do with their money right now? This week, next week, week after. When you're talking to suppliers, don't say like, okay, you know, we want something today, but then, you know, in like 3 months, we'd like to 10x our order. So can you give us at that price now? No, because they don't know what's going to happen 10 weeks from now. They have no idea, or 3 months from now. So only focus on the short term. That's what I'm going to say. Only focus on the short term. But here's my thing. You still got to think about the world post-COVID-19, but only focus on the short term. Think long term, do short term. Does that make sense? I said you wouldn't agree with everything, so let me know how you feel about that one. But even now, what I'm doing is right now, short term, I'm doing virtual conferences, virtual webinars, virtual coaching one-on-one with aspiring entrepreneurs. I've got a course on public speaking that Sven is taking, a few other people are taking, which is tons of fun. Like everything is digital right now. That's right now. Because if Sven comes to me and says, Dan, can you coach me on public speaking? I'm like, yes. And he says, can we do some one-on-one training in my house? I'm like when? Like, I don't know when are we talking 2022, 2021? But I say, actually, I've got a course right now, 6 sessions, 6 modules. You can do it in 1 week right now. And it's like dirt cheap. And he'd be like, boom, download. And then after that he goes, can you do some one-on-one via Zoom? Sure. So that's right now. But by doing this, I'm also positioning for the future, because what I'm communicating to the world is I can still coach, I can still host, I can still bring energy even on a screen. It's not optimum, it's not ideal, but I'm here and I'm willing to engage. Whereas again, I have a lot of friends who have just chosen to give up. Like literally, I've just given up and gone like, I'm just gonna wait for things to get better. And what are they communicating? Are they positioning for the future? I don't think so. I think they're losing out, because I think more of this is gonna happen. We're gonna have more platforms like AirMeet and Veertly and Hopin and all these new things coming up. I don't think those are going to go down. I think it's going to keep coming up. And I'm working my skills to understand this world as well as the world that will be after that. Finally, last thing. This one is a personal one. This time is the universe's call, the universe's gift, the universe's opportunity for you to connect with yourself. As a founder, your responsibilities are unbelievable. As a founder, the expectations from your family, from your customers, from your staff, from your investors is unbelievable. As a founder, your to-do list is unbelievable. I know this because I've built 6 companies. I understand. And the one thing I never had was time. I didn't have time to sleep. I didn't have time to take care of my health. I didn't have time to meet my friends. I didn't have time for anything. I was just slogging day in and day out. And the world has literally stopped. Okay, not literally. I hate to use the word literally when it's not literally, but it's essentially stopped spinning. This is a gift, guys. This is an amazing gift for you to connect with yourself. What is your purpose? Yeah, ask yourself that question. What is your purpose? Are you doing your purpose, or did you just do an opportunity? Did you just do the next door that opened? Or is this why you're here? Ask yourself, why do I wake up every morning? And it has to be more than because my alarm rings. Like, why do you wake up? Why do you breathe? Why are you here? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself, what is the greatest skill or talent that I have? What is something that I individually can give to the world? Again, not just something that a boss asks you to do, or a peer asks you to do, or a friend asks you, but what do you assess as your greatest skill set or talent or gift? Why not do more of that? This is a great chance as a founder for you to build strong foundations, because I know what it feels like to run on very little oil. I know what it feels like to just be like racing through life with no chance to reflect, no chance to think back. I know what it feels like to just feel like I'm a headless chicken, which, side note, living in India, I see lots of headless chicken, and it's not a pleasant sight. I don't know who came up with that concept, but you know the panic of a headless chicken. And that's how I felt as an entrepreneur, as a founder. And now you have the chance to actually sleep for 7 hours, because you don't have to go to work the next day. You don't have to leave the house. So sleep whatever you need. I need 7 hours, but if you need 8, you need 10, you need 6, give it yourself. Now's the chance to work out 2 times a day. I look and feel better now than I did for the last 2 years. I had a great life, made tons of money, but I did not physically, I was not at my prime. And now I am a year older than I was last year, but I am physically so much stronger and better than I was before. So make sure that you give yourself the gift that the universe has placed in your hand, which is to connect with yourself. As a founder, you owe it to yourself. So I gave you 5 practical things that you need to do. Now it's your turn. I'm looking at the general chat section because I said this is going to be a conversation. I have done all the work so far. I've done all the speaking so far, but let's make this a conversation. And that's all I want to say. So Sven, you probably have some stuff too, but let's read. Oh yeah, you want to say something, and then we can read through some comments as people are talking.
Sure. So we've got 2 questions in the questions tab, actually. And I do have some questions, that's right. But yes, as you mentioned, let's have the guys. So the first question is from Rashud Kalal, and he's asking, what do I do with the payroll? I believe he's referring to the current situation.
Yeah. So I've told you what I've done with my payroll, which is what can be deferred and deflected. I have done it for the sake of the larger team, and I've done it with them. I didn't do like you saw this whole scandal with Uber, right? Uber just put a Zoom call with everyone and was like, you're all fired, 3,500 of you. I didn't do that. I had one-on-one conversations with every single one of them. And I was like, what is your financial situation? I actually have a voice note on my phone, because even today with one of the guys from Ireland, even though we had both agreed that he was happy to take a salary from the Irish government, I still asked him today, how are things going? Because if he says, I'm not able to make my payments, like that right now, start paying him again. I've not taken a salary for the last 3 months. It doesn't matter to me, right? Because I've got enough savings, I'm okay. So you got to make those decisions. As a founder, you're responsible for everyone else first, except for point 5. In which case, when it comes to your introspection, your learning, you're responsible for yourself first. But it's a very, very fine balance. So I've not taken a salary for about 3 months. It's fine. I'm still earning money. I still have money. We're okay. My staff, that can be like deferred payments. So no one's been fired, but where we can defer payments for later, we have done that. And where they need the money right now, I have a few staff that have kids, that are married. They're all getting paid. They're all happy. Sometimes they don't work because there's problems. I still pay them, and I pay them gladly, with no hate, no hurt, no pain, because I realize these are really difficult times. And so like one of them, her mother-in-law broke her leg. She wasn't able to work for a week. Did I dock her pay by 25%? No, because the boss that I am now is the boss that they will remember. Because if I was kind in their hardest times, you know they will bring back that love and kindness back when I need it. Because we all know as CEOs and founders that we need help too. We can be strong on the outside, but it is tough doing what we're doing. And if they can count on me when they need it, I know I can count on them when they need it. Simple as that.
Perfect. Beautiful said. We've got one more question, and then we move to the general chat for you to run through.
Yeah.
So we have Yogesh Chada, and I hope I pronounced it right. What can be done with the society's expectation of figuring out my career by 24, especially in India? And there's a second question to that. I'm yet to start my own venture. What would you like to say about building a team? How to build a crazy team?
Okay, that was not one question. I heard like 3 questions there.
Yeah.
But let's try to go it. What do I do about society's expectations about figuring out my career by the age of 24? That's a tough one. It's one that I think every Indian feels, whether they're in India or outside of India. I would say it's a balancing act of 2 things. And note, I said it's a balancing act. It's not a choice between one of the 2. You have to do both at different ratios on different days with different people. All right, so I'm going to tell you two ideologies that you have to hold together, even though they feel contradictory. Number 1, which is the popular Western view, is it's your life. You have one life, YOLO. You only live once. Do what makes you happy. Find your passion. Go live it. Go do it. And that's awesome. It creates some amazing people. Right? This is a very popular, it's not every Western ideology, but it's a very popular Western ideology, is your life is yours. You owe it to yourself to be the best that you can be every single day. Everyone else, secondary. You, number 1. You're the primary actor in your story. That's one way of thinking, in which case the answer is, don't worry about expectations. You do what you want to do. Whether you're 22, whether you're 24, whether you're 48, whether you're 80, it doesn't matter. You work where you want to work, you marry who you want to marry, you live where you want to live, you do what you want to do, your life. A second concept, which is considered more of an Eastern ideology, is you cannot achieve in isolation. And there's also a very popular African proverb that's this concept of Ubuntu. And Ubuntu simply means, I am because we are. None of us grew up in a vacuum. None of us grew up in a empty space by ourselves. We're here because of our parents, our teachers, our siblings, our extended relatives, every conversation, every opportunity, every time they smiled at us, every time they hugged at us, those all built us. So it's not that we owe it to them, but as a thank you, as a response to years of pouring into your life, consider their happiness as well. Because when they're happy, you're happy too. Like, how could you not be happy if the people that raised you are not happy? Like, if they're happy, you'll feel that happiness as well. So an Eastern ideology around this is, consider the joy, the happiness of everyone else around you. And so you've got these 2 worlds. And I say, hold them in tension, hold them in balance. I don't think you pick, because if you just do the Western ideology and go like, screw it, I'm just going to do my own thing, then you have people like Jeff Bezos who, is like, I don't care, COVID-19 is happening, I'm on my way to becoming a trillionaire, I'm going to fire my staff, I'm going to make them work without masks, I don't care, it's money, and that's it. I built my value, I am who I am because of my hard work. Ex-wife, who cares about her? It's my life, let me do my thing. Right? That's one way of thinking. And that's an extreme one and maybe an unfair one, because he's also very admirable in many other ways as an entrepreneur. But I'm just picking an extreme case of that's what happens when you only think about yourself. Your staff doesn't matter. Your wife doesn't matter. Your family doesn't matter. It's you. And then the other one is, I guess the extreme version of that is you give up on your own joy. You give up on your own purpose because you're so busy paying attention to everyone else's view, everybody else's happiness, everybody else's wishes and wants, that you lose who you are. Because at the end of the day, you still know yourself best, right? And you don't pay attention to yourself. And so neither extreme is good. And so you got to find a balance in there between the two. Yogesh says, got it, Dan. Good. I'm glad I was able to answer that question. Let's go to this general chat because I see some really great responses. I asked for number 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 to the top 10 tips for startups during this time. So there's a gentleman here that says, learn new skills. Absolutely. Use this time to upskill. Not even just new skills, just new levels of skills, but also why not learn some new skills? And a lot of places, actually, even companies and governments, I think the government in Abu Dhabi actually gave every resident free access to university courses online from like Yale and MIT. I've seen some really great stories of this kind of stuff. So even if not, like Udemy and all these sites, they're already really cheap and a lot of them are giving massive discounts. So learn new skills for sure. Sumit says, be persistent. Perseverance is very important. Absolutely. That is a personality trait that is non-negotiable for an entrepreneur. I think entrepreneurs, the really good ones, face more obstacles than they do victories. And so persistence is so key. Debashi says, talk to failed entrepreneurs. They give you better perspective. Absolutely. I love that. And now's a good time to network. That's another one I should have added on here. I don't think now's a good time to sell. I don't think now's a good time to fundraise. I don't think now's a good time to expand your team, but I do think it's a great time to network because everybody's trying to reach out on a human level. And the CEO that was too busy to talk to you before, guess what? They're trying to escape their kids right now. So if you go, hey, can I get a 25-minute meeting with you? They're like, yes, please get me away. You know, so I do think it's a really good time to network with people. All right, Yogesh says your point of self-introspection is awesome, is the most important. Vinny says, is there an industry that you're looking at? I'm not sure if that is a question to me and from what point of view. So if you're still here, Vinny, watching, please explain that a little bit more. Sumit says, point number 6, it's very important that we founders keep ourselves up and be positive even during these tough times. So perseverance is very important. I'm also going to add a few practical things. Have a morning routine. It is really hard to have a great life if you don't have a morning routine. Have a set time you wake up. This morning, I woke up at 7:30 a.m. At 7:35 a.m., I drank a glass of water because supposedly it has really good health benefits. At 8 a.m., I was playing tennis. At 9 a.m., I was having breakfast with my parents. At 9:30 a.m., I was writing down all of my goals. And at 10 a.m., I was watching a sermon and taking some notes spiritually. And 10:30 is when I switched on my phone. So 3 hours after I woke up. And that is after I had taken care of myself physically, relationally, spiritually, and professionally. I hit those 4 targets for me first before I opened my phone, before I looked at notifications, before I went to emails. So have a strong morning routine. That's the secret. You can't wait for life to throw you good stuff. You do good stuff for yourself. You throw yourself a party for yourself every day. You'll be positive. You'll be happy. Point number 7, engage with your team beyond work. Ask them how their work from home is going. It's difficult for them too, so I personally engage with them on topics beyond work. Sumit, that is amazing. Well done. Completely agree with you. Wojciech, point number 8. For us personally and as a company, it was very important to work out our golden circle. Ooh, why, how, what? Yes, Simon Sinek is a genius, and he's got this concept of a golden circle. Most companies start with what they do, then how they do it, and then why they do it. And he says the best companies in the world know why they exist, then they figure out how they can achieve that, and that finally shows up in the what, the manifestations of it. And so that's really good. Wojciech, I think, had messaged earlier while I was chatting to remind me that we had met earlier. I'm going to scroll through all of this, let go of the past. Hi, Dan, I'm from Germany. We already met 2 times at Bits and Pretzels in the Schottenhammer. Lovely. It's good to see you again over here on this Air Meet wonderful platform with Mainstage Incubator. All right. Point number 9, gratitude. Yes. I should have mentioned that. I'm a little bit annoyed that I forgot that one. Yes, Vinny, that's really important. Have some gratitude. Spend valuable time with old people. They've successfully dealt with bigger crisis. So these are great. These are fantastic. All right, let's go to other questions. Do you have questions, Sven? Keep the questions
yes, of course.
in the question
yes,
section.
Of course.
But, yeah.
We also have an option to invite people live on stage and ask questions. If you're up for that, we can do that after the questions.
So you can just, how do they do that? Do they have to hit raise hand, or what do they do?
Yes, and then we can let them in. But before we do that, I have a very important question for you. Now,
Okay.
you know, if you look at the newly startups who have popped up in the COVID-19 crisis, obviously they saw the opportunity which you were addressing today. But I'd like to understand your view on the ideal characteristics of a co-founder, especially in this COVID-19 scenario.
So let me tell you two things that I find really helpful for any co-founder.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you like the COVID-19 twist to that. So the two, I would say non-negotiables is, for me, my favorite co-founders in my past startups. The first is we share the passion. There are many people that you will hire to fulfill the passion, but sharing the passion and fulfilling the passion are very different. Equity does not make them share the passion. A salary does not make them share the passion. They either feel it and love it as much as you do, or they do not. And I think a founder should be reserved only for people that share the passion. Everybody else, you hire, give equity, you do whatever you want. But if you, so that's my first non-negotiable, because there should be at least one other person on the team that you don't have to convince that this is going to be success, that you don't have to motivate that they're working on a winner. They just wake up feeling the same way that you do. Because the truth is, there'll be days that you doubt yourself. And if they go like, come on, our passion, we can do this, then they're going to do that. So that's the first non-negotiable. The second non-negotiable is complementary skills. The more time that you spend knowing your personality type. So if you want to start with something like a Myers-Briggs test, for example, I am an ENTJ, right? And so the Myers-Briggs will also tell you who do you work with the best. And my best complementary skills are ENFP. So we have the EN in common, which gives us a certain flow with our work, but the TJ makes me a lot more detail-oriented and mission-focused, and makes the FP a lot more macro vision and people-focused. And so that's very complementary. My mix of detail with his or her mix of macro. My mix of like, we focus on getting it done, and his like focus on people being at their happiest and best. And so, yes, complementary skills. Those to me are like non-negotiables. You don't really want a twin up there as a co-founder. My twist for COVID-19 is, I guess it's important that you find someone who's level-headed, because there's a lot of hysteria and madness and fear, and that's not helpful on a team. I would say possibly someone that demonstrates patience, because a lot of us are now playing the long game. We're doing stuff in the short term, but we're holding out for an indefinite long term. And someone who's able to do that, because most entrepreneurs are like, now, today, you know? And so maybe someone who can demonstrate patience. Bonus, if they've got a sense of humor, that really helps during this time. So those are my small twists for COVID-19, I guess.
Perfect. Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that, Dan. I've got a few more questions, but let's switch back to the audience. And we have the first person who raised his hand, and that is Sumit. Sumit has been very active over the past 5 webinars. He's always come on stage. He's always the first one to raise his hand to talk and ask questions.
Nice.
So I'm going to invite him in. Let me just change the view so that it's easier for everyone. How do I do it? Like this and like this.
Come on, Mr. Sumit.
Loading. There you go.
Hi. Hello, Dan. Hi, Sven.
Hey, Sumit.
Am I audible first of all?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, first of all, Dan, that was an amazing energy that you came in with. Totally thrilled out. You know, that kind of reflects on how the entire meeting is going to go about, entire webinar. So you answered one of my questions. What do you look for in a co-founder or in a team, especially during the COVID situation? You know, you need to have someone who already believes in your idea so that you don't have to motivate them constantly.
Mhm.
but the entire team needs to be motivated along with ourselves. And in such a time, how do you go about showing them the vision, but making them work on the smaller aspects of the smaller aspects of your work? How do you personally go about with it?
Okay, if you're asking me personally, this is exactly what I do. I no more tell them the vision because nobody knows, including me. We only stay active. I feel like a big key to feeling positive and having momentum is just stay active. So we really focus on the micro. Today, my assistant, my executive assistant, what she's working on, so with this big benefit concert that we organized on Tuesday, we had a bunch of people who donated $100 or more. And so I have asked her to make a list of all of those people so that I can personally send them an email and thank them. She has no idea what is the point of this. What is a virtual benefit concert as a music thing for nurses have anything to do with an MC or a TEDx speaker or a startup coach? Practically nothing. So she has no idea what the vision is. Even I don't know what the vision is. But we did something and we should end it well. And so this is an important part of it is let me thank everyone personally who donated this kind of money. One of my guys, Dominic, who is amazing at pushing my course online, one of the things I told him is, can we find out if TikTok is an audience? I have no idea what the vision is long term, if I'm the right age group, if I can do all the dance challenges, if I will do it for more than a year. There is no vision talk. It's just like today, look up TikTok. What's the audience? How do we get on there? Can we repurpose the content to be on there? So the way that I've been able to motivate my staff is just to keep them active, because most people are talking about being bored, Netflix shows, and how there's no jobs and everything's changed. And most people are just talking like the numbers and how everything's uncertain. And my guys, they're saying like, oh, sorry team, or sorry family, I have to finish up lunch fast because I've got this job to do. And it's a different energy because they have action. So we've only been focused on micro.
Okay, so I have one last question for you. So we have had a lot of talk about the future of market. What is the market going to be like post-COVID? Right?
Yeah.
How much focus do you actually put on that? Because a lot of things depend on that as well for a startup.
Yes and no. If you keep thinking about engage with the present, position the future, which is what I keep repeating over and over again, it actually doesn't matter, because even with the examples I gave you, I did not know how music classes as a 12-year-old would lead to a lifetime of getting paid to perform music and having music be my differentiator as someone on stage, as well as like meeting amazing people because of music. I did not know setting up a co-working space in Ireland, which was the need of the hour at that point, is all these entrepreneurs like yourself kind of working in different places on their own. It was like, imagine we just collected together. I mean, back then we didn't have air meets to like meet digitally. It's like, let's just meet physically in a space. But I did not know that that would lead to the Prime Minister of Ireland, catching attention to this, and then me being appointed as an advisor to the national government, writing the policy for entrepreneurship for the entire island, right? There were 7 of us. I was one of those people that wrote it, but I did not know that by serving the need of the hour. I just served the need of the hour. We built a co-working space. But because the Bank of Ireland got involved, because PwC got involved, because the universities got involved, then eventually the Prime Minister found out and he's like, we need to have someone like you on our team. But when I did that, then other countries started going, oh, Dan's not just energy and fun, he actually knows his stuff. So then other countries, so like when I'm in Germany, like I do bits and pretzels or wear the later hose and we have fun. But I also go to the government and I train the ministers and I run like coaching sessions for them. And it's all behind closed doors because a lot of it's private, but that comes from just serving the need of our building a co-working space, right? And that's Lisa's stuff. So I would say you don't need to know the future. You don't have to predict the future. Just engage with the present. And by doing that, you are positioning for the future. That said, I read a lot. I study a lot. It's obvious that virtual and digital is going to be a big part of our future. But it's also obvious to me that people are tired of these. Like you have 6 Zoom calls in a day and people are like, I don't want any more. So I think people will come back to physical experiences again. I think somewhere in that mix is where the future is going to be. When that happens, what that looks like, who the new world order, because some countries are struggling. I mean, talk about individuals like us struggling, but there are entire nations that are struggling right now. What restructuring happens, who knows?
Who knows?
But I read, I don't make decisions on it. It's premature right now to make a decision on the future.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, my man. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sumit. Thank you. So, Dan, are you ready for the next person?
Sure.
So it's Wojciech Konieczny from.
Hey,
Yeah,
Wojciech.
let's bring him in.
Hi, Dan.
Hello, my man. How are you?
How are you?
It's
So
good.
great to see you again.
Nice to see you.
My question is, what is your perception of the changing of the word community? Because to my mind, many people change their perception of the word now. They are open, they are honest, they support each other. What do you think is changing today, and what do you think is going to last after COVID?
That's a good question. Let me ask you, how do you define community?
For me, it's a network of people who are reaching out for them and helping them.
Good. So I think my only add to that term for me is a community is usually around some shared value or some shared interest. And so the beautiful part is that is still true today, right? So if you love a certain TV show, what's your favorite TV show right now, Wojciech?
TV show.
Netflix show or anything online.
So maybe what I'm watching now is, do you know The Last Ship?
No, I don't know The Last Ship.
Okay.
But let's work with that. I bet that there is a community of people that are watching this, and they probably would enjoy to talk about it. And the only thing that's changed is how. But community itself has not changed. Just how it manifests that has changed. And for now, at this present time, it involves social distancing and staying at home in most countries. But I'm still involved, like we are right now, having a conversation about the future startups. And it's from startups, for startups, by startups, because we care about this topic. We are community right now, sharing this value. But instead of meeting at a conference center or a meeting in a paintball place or a meeting at a coffee shop, we're meeting virtually. But it's still community. So I'd say that's changed. Obviously, I think personally that this is not as strong. I think it's nice, but it's not great. And so for me, I know I would enjoy reading your body language more, you know, and for everyone else as well. Like I can see you, but I can't see everyone else. And so I don't know like how engaged or not they are. I don't know how interested they are in this question or not, but in a group, we would know that. I would also love to see the differences, the diversity in the room, in the way we dress, in the way we look, in the way we do our hair. This is now my COVID-19 hair. It's like way too much, but you know. So there's all this stuff that I miss doing that the previous concept of community could do, but community hasn't gone anywhere. It's just how we do it. And my hope is after this, we are far more grateful for opportunities to meet together, that we're a lot more intentional, and that we grab every chance to actually connect in real life because it's beautiful, and I think we all miss it. So those are my quick thoughts on now and future on community.
I absolutely agree. Great. Thanks.
All right, man. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Wojciech.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Ooh, yeah.
So, no, everybody's pretty shy. Nobody wants to raise their hand. It's kind of interesting. Well, if nobody doesn't want to raise their hand, I'm gonna kick off with another question. So I've got them prepared. Like I'm very good in preparing, but you know, just to keep the energy. What is your superpower? Well, I know that you're energetic and you're the igniter, how people call you. But what's your superpower?
Okay, so I think one superpower that I have is I can take very complex ideas and break it down into very simple steps, which is why I have my whole like start now, start simple thing, because people come to me like, Dan, I want to build a startup, and here's my idea, and here's my solution, and here's my team, and here are my resources, and these are all the things I need to do. And I'm like, okay, great. I hear it all. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, got it. Mental map done. Here are your next 3 steps. Let's go. Day 1, day 2, day 3. Let's make it happen. And I think I am good at that, and I also really, really love that, which is why people always started making fun of it and be like, start now, start simple. And then I just coined it, and now it's my phrase. Start now, start simple.
Cool. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Start now, start simple. I like that. So we are going to the questions tab. So if that is okay with you.
That is okay.
So Debashish has posted a question. Dan, please tell us a little bit about the companies you have founded. And maybe I'll add to that question after you've answered that. What's one startup regret you have? But let's answer Debashish first.
Okay. So a variety of different things over the years. I am not a specialist in anything. I just like to solve problems. And so in the earliest of days, when I was like 12 or 13 years old, it was my parents saying that I couldn't celebrate Halloween. And so I created an alternative carnival. That was like my earliest memories of building a company. But when it comes to more professional stuff, there was a renewable energy company in Morocco that was all about irrigation. And then the second, I don't know if I'm doing this in order. The second one was an event company based in India. The third was Treehouse, which was my co-working space in Ireland. The fourth is Park PMP, which is a aggregator to find parking spaces. So if you own a car, you know the pain of driving around in circles, and so we'll connect you. I forgot the number I was in. The fifth. Did I already say 5? I don't know. The next one, we'll just go with that one. The next one is Sanctify, which is a platform to connect health enthusiasts who travel extensively. So all of these, you can see the theme. They all are problems I had at some point or the other. I needed a place to work, so I built a co-working space. I needed to find a parking space, so I built Park BNP. I wanted to find gyms, pools, and spas while I was flying, and so I built Sanctify. So those are the startups. I don't think I've missed any. Consulting company, but that's less of a startup. That's more of a business. There's nothing like super innovative there. But the regrets is the term that has been said a few times here, which is persistence. I quit too early on the co-working space idea. At that point, we were the first in the market. It was really scary. And although we had a lot of success, and like I said, all the way up to the national level and addressing the parliament stuff, at some point, we shut down the business, right? That business does not exist anymore. And now when I look back, I'm like, oh, if we just believed a little bit more, if we just waited out a little bit longer, we would have kept growing it. But on the other side, I probably would not be doing what I'm doing right now, because I would have been just building my startup all day long. Because man, I don't think I saw sunlight for months on end. I was just building. So I'd say that's probably my only startup regret as such, is persistence.
Beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. So we've got 2 people who want to come on stage. So I'm gonna let in Philip. Philip is from UBI Global, and UBI Global, they're like a community of accelerators and incubators. And Mainstage Incubator is also a partner of UBI Global. So let's bring in Philip.
Come on, Philip.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
Hey, what's up, my man?
Hey, I just want to say your energy is fantastic. I just love absorbing everything you're giving. It's great. Seriously, thank you so much.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, my question is very brief, actually. How do you handle lows? Like, because you're such a positive guy, how do you handle the lows of life?
Good question. Very, very good question. I will tell you some things, and I'd love to hear how you handle your lows as well. Lows happen. I think what I have learned is not avoiding lows, just how to navigate them better. So I think I have my fair share of chaos, hurt, pain, heartbreak, destruction, all of that stuff. Like everyone else, I just navigate it more efficiently. And And I don't try to run away from it. I don't try to sweep it under a rug because that just shows up in ugly ways later. So for me, some of the things that I do, these are just some tools I've learned, and that's what it is, right? It's like all these tools, and you figure out which is the best tool for that moment. Sometimes it's in the form of a, what is that term that they use when a cheat day? That's what they call it, a cheat day. So if you're like on a diet and you have like a cheat day is when you can eat anything.
Yeah.
And so I have a pretty regulated day in what I'm doing. Like I'm just trying to pack the most into every single moment. And when sometimes the tool is to have a cheat day. Essentially, I write to every meeting and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm out. I got to take care of myself. And I just do nothing. And I think I have maybe like 1 or 2 cheat days a whole year, right? This is a pretty extreme kind of thing because there's lots of smaller things you can do as well. Most people cannot afford to just not show up for a day, but sometimes it's necessary. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes you have to prioritize yourself, cancel everything else, and just take care of yourself. And during the cheat day, I'll do stuff I don't normally do. Like I'll maybe go get a massage. I never get a massage, but like once a year, why not? Maybe I'll go to a golf course. I don't even play golf, but like once a year, why not? Like just cheat days, like the stuff you wouldn't normally do. Just break away from everything.
It sounds like those are still very healthy things that you're engaging in, and that's kind of what I wanted to dig out from you as well. Is when you do the self-therapy, self-loving things during those downs, what that exactly looks like to you is not Netflix and hamburgers. It's like other people or numbing in other ways, because that's such a prevalent thing today in today's day and age with stimulation nation, take a pill for everything, etc. So it's great feedback that you try out different things. Is the pattern that I've detected with you. You go to different things. Yeah.
You got to do, like, you have to check in with yourself. I certainly have days where I just eat ice cream. I love ice cream. That's my comfort food, right? But you got to check in. Like if there's a little bit of motivation, if you have a little bit of self-respect, then I'm like, you know what? There are other options. Like I can journal. I can try to write down what I'm feeling. And just doing that helps. Or even though I don't feel like talking to anyone, I'm going to call one good friend. And if they pick up, I will be super honest and I will accept what they have to say. And I pray into it. I'm like, all right, God, if this is meant to be, like have them pick up the phone and give them wisdom. Like give them the words I need to hear right now. And like 95% of the time, it works out. And for me, that's great. So these are things that I don't feel like doing, but I tell myself, Dan, do you have a little bit of self-respect, a little bit of motivation? Then do this. Like push yourself. Just one phone call if it works. But there are other days that I'm like, I don't even have that. And I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna not change, sit in my PJs, stay in my bed. I'm gonna just binge on something and eat ice cream. And you have to be like, you have to check in with yourself. But I haven't had that kind of day in a long time. There's usually like so many other options out there.
Yeah.
Music, dance parties, going outside, playing with puppies and dogs.
Yeah.
Like these are all like great ways to like get out of a hole. How about you, Philip? What do you do when you're in a low
That's great. No, that's amazing. What I do particularly is I like to change my state. I think that's a concept from Tony Robbins. I don't think I originated that. But so what that means is take a walk, for instance, through forests and trees is also scientifically known to reduce anxiety and stress.
Yes.
Give you that fresh air, those things in our Homo sapien nature, which is very important and I think underrated in today's day and age as well, when we're always sitting and inside. So I like to do that. I also like to share and connect with the loved ones in my life. I'll call my mom or I'll call my best friend, or preferably bring them on a walk if possible, or my dad, like the people close to me, to really reach out, because that's why we have each other, I think, too, is to be able to connect, not just because opportunities, et cetera, but to share our highs and our lows as well. So I do that, but by changing my state, I mean, going to the gym as well. I'm talking about physically powering through those low moments. And they say that also scientifically reduces the stress factors as well in the brain. So that's what I do. That works for me, is changing my state and connecting with others.
Yeah. 100% agree with that. You cannot go wrong when you do that.
Yeah. That's all for me. Thank you so much for sharing, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. Thanks for being part of this. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Philip. Thanks. So, Dan, are you ready for the next 2 people to come on stage?
Yeah. I've got another 10 minutes or so.
Okay, so let's 2 more people and then some last thoughts, and I hope we can stretch it a bit over time. Let's be agile. So we've got Vinay Prashant. He's a social entrepreneur, rural livelihoods, Tamala. There you go.
Hey, hi, Dan Brown. Can you see me?
I cannot. I can see you now. I cannot see you now. This is a fun game. Now I can see you.
Okay, fine. Yeah. So I run a social enterprise. So we work with village artisans and tribal artisans across India on livelihoods. And for us, the COVID has come at obviously, every enterprise, the COVID has come at a very bad time. I don't think the whole world, was expecting anything like this to hit them, and so we are part of the game. For us, the odd thing is that we built a social enterprise, which building a social enterprise takes a long time because we were doing it in a bootstrapped way. We were not taking investments, and it took us almost 4 years to 5 years to get to where we were. We are supporting about 150 village and tribal artisans across India. And we have institutional clients, so large institutions, have enrolled into our program, and we are able to supply them gifts. We also have about 3,000 retail customers. So it's taken a painstaking amount of time to build up some basic level of impact.
Yes.
But then something like this happens, and even though our customers and our corporate institutions who are supporting us, they understand that we are doing great work in livelihoods and all that. Everybody's priorities change now, so they're like, okay, let's feed the hungry first. Let's support, or am I going to have my job? Is the institution going to open next month? So people's priorities have changed drastically.
Sure. Yep.
And what that implies is, even though we are in an impact space, the relative priority that we get has reduced drastically.
Yes.
It's funny. I mean, so but we're going through this. So how would you suggest that we, in a situation like this, continue communicating and reaching out to our patrons, and still understanding that the situation is different, and probably our time will come a little later. So when the hunger is taken care of, or when job securities are taken care of, or when institutions are kind of working at least 50% efficiency, and corporate institutions are coming back slightly on track, then probably they'll come back looking at us. So
what is it that the villages that you work with, the 150 villages you work with, what do they create? What do they produce? So they're
a lot of art and handicraft.
Art and handicraft. Okay, cool. So first of all, congratulations for the momentum that you were able to create over 4 or 5 years, bootstrapped. I know the feeling, and all of my companies are bootstrapped. And so I know that it takes a lot of work. Second, I empathize with you about the feeling of the loss of momentum, and that's a real thing for everybody, right? I feel like even for me, my career was at like a all-time high as an MC. Like I basically doubled my prices since last year, and everyone was still like booking me like crazy. And then all of this, I cut it down, and now it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what my fees were on stage. There is no stage, and we start again at the bottom. So I completely empathize with the pain of building something and then not seeing it continue to grow. And I feel for you on that one. That said, let's think about what can be done. I think, number one, you still can share stories. I think these 150 villages is hundreds of families, hundreds of situations whose stories you should be sharing. I would still go out, get case studies, find out what is happening with the single mom with 4 kids. What is their life right now? Just call them and ask, like, can you talk 20 minutes and share that story with your clients, share that story with your corporate partners, share the story with your retail partners. Because people also want to break from this whole COVID-19 conversation, and they're curious, how are other people during this time? And why do we have to keep looking at what celebrities are doing? Who cares? But everyone's paying attention. How's Ellen DeGeneres surviving in her multi-million-dollar mansion? Hopefully he can still hear us. I think he's maybe had an internet connection, but his question was still valid. And so for any social entrepreneurs that are watching as well, so I'd say the first thing is tell the stories and find the stories, right? You guys in today's talk found out about my team. I rarely ever talk about my team because the brand is DanRam, but you found out about my team and their stories through today's conversation. So share the stories. That's the first thing I'd say. Second is, as much as you can, pivot your goods, products, or services to what the need of the hour is now. So art, for example, which is one of the things that he said, do people need certain kinds of art right now? Vinay's back. Yay. Do people need some kinds of art right now? No. But is there other kinds of art that they would like? Possibly. Now, because this question is spontaneous and I'm not prepared for it, I'm going to give you the first thought that came to mind. It's a bad one, but it's a thought, right? I have a few friends whose loved ones died during this COVID-19 time. And here in India, you cannot travel even for the sake of a funeral. And so these guys mourned and grieved on their own. And this is just a thought, but why not ask the artists in the group to paint their loved ones? Because there's no closure, right? There's no like going to a funeral, grieving, and then saying goodbye to them. So why not like have their portrait painted to them? People would pay for that. There's so many weddings that cannot happen right now. Why not offer to paint a wedding photograph, well, not a photograph because you can't take a photograph, but like a wedding scenario and paint it. So I'm just thinking off the top of my head. So do they need art of like, the Eiffel Tower? Maybe no one's buying that right now, but are they buying pictures of their loved ones that they cannot see? Yes. Are they buying pictures of things they wish they could be doing right now? Probably yes. And even with the handicraft, do they need the usual stuff that you were selling? Maybe not. But are there things that people are buying right now as far as handicrafts go? Yes. So I would just like try to find a way to retool your crew to what the current need is right now. Those are my 2 quick thoughts on this topic.
Beautiful.
Great,
Thanks,
you.
Dan. Thanks, Dan.
I think the stories, the stories is an excellent.
Of course.
Thank you.
You're so welcome, man. Thank you so much. And I wish you the best, the absolute best. Make it happen.
So, Dan, we have 3 more minutes. So maybe before we close this session, any last thoughts you have towards the founders or entrepreneurs out there? I know we've got some unanswered question. If anybody scrolls at the very top, there are ways on reaching DanRam. It's very simple, iamdanram.com or at iamdanram on all the social media platforms, and he does respond. So if you guys have any questions, shoot it out to Dan. But first, before you go on to your last thoughts, thank you so much, man, for bringing it on, coming on board here. Really enjoyed it for you. The energy was really great. And I have my co-founder here who wants to actually say a few words to you as well. So I'd like to invite him on stage.
Yay, all right.
Hey, Dan.
Hello. How are you?
How are you? I mean, I was really looking forward to this session. I actually mentally prepared a speech for you, but I don't know how much of that I remember after I was, bombarded by your energy. So, well, let me just remember a few things. So first, I wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I mean, I was really looking forward to, seeing you virtually. We have never met. The other thing is, in this COVID, in the last 50 days or 75 days, there has been an overcrowd of webinars which we keep on attending. We are at home and we keep on attending this, and here comes one guy with atomic energy in him, and bombarding you with radical thoughts. And I don't know, I'm at lack of words here, but amazing. Thank you so much, Dan. I've never been so at loss of words, but
Speechless.
you have been one word, atomic. I mean, you're
Wow.
really packed stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we would probably be I think you're doing this session in India for the first time, and we are very happy that Mainstage, you collaborated with Mainstage and coming on board with that, and so glad you did that. Now, Sven, is this my closing comments, or should I? Or
Yes,
is
please,
there
Dan.
something else? Yeah.
Actually, we're almost at the end of the day, so please do.
All right. So
closing.
I will take 30 minutes to 30 seconds to just talk a little about Mainstage. I'm sorry, the energy is still getting absorbed in me.
I've never seen him like this, Dan. What have you done to my co-founder?
Well, let's put him on the big screen, and that might help a little bit. So let's change the view so that the world can see what Josh has to share here.
Yeah, I mean, you have got some magical powers which you can virtually transmit. I mean, that is amazing. That is amazing. So, Sven, our CEO, has given me the responsibility to give a talk about a little about Mainstage. As you said, we build innovation bridges between evolved geographies and evolving geographies. So we have started off with innovation bridge between India and Germany. Now we are spreading our wings beyond India to other developing nations like Brazil, like Argentina, and few other startups coming on board from Australia, from the Southeast Asian region. We are also spreading our wings beyond Germany into Europe and America as well. So most of the startups who are on board today, who are attending today, are welcome to connect with us. I will leave my email ID and Sven's email ID on the chat. We are happy to have you, all of you, on board. Thank you so much from whichever part of the world you have attended this. DanRam brings immense amount of energy. That goes without saying. But and what has happened is he has brought in a different kind of stature for us at Mainstage Incubator, and we are so glad to have you.
Thank you so
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you for your kind words. That's powerful. And I
My
do
pleasure.
want to say I am very grateful for Atomic and Igniter and all of those things. I appreciate it. I receive it. But the most important thing right now is everybody has to do something with it. Just going from Zoom webinar to webinar, AirMeet to AirMeet is not going to help you in your business. It's not going to help you in your family. So make sure that you are receiving value. Make sure that you're applying this value. Don't be afraid to try stuff. Reach out to Sven, reach out to Debashish. These guys are here to help you. Mainstage Incubator, I know, has resources available to support you in your journey. Reach out to me. I put up my social media stuff in the question section. If we can help, we will. That's the whole point of doing this. So let's be part of your journey just as much as you've been part of ours for the last 90 minutes. Invite us to be part of yours so we can see you keep growing. I want to see people come out of COVID-19 stronger, better, fuller than before. We can do this.
Perfect. Beautiful. And like Dan always says, start now, start simple. And I always say, stay safe and stay productive.
There we go.
Perfect.
Okay,
Big
bye-bye.
round of applause. Thanks, man. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. Dan, stay safe, and hope to see you soon in Germany, man.
All right. Goodbye. See you later.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, DanRam. So we're backstage at the Mainstage Incubator. We're getting ready for our session, which is Opportunity Crisis, How to Flex Your Change Muscle. Just finished a 90-minute session with Mainstage Incubator thanks to this man who invited me to talk about how to flex your change muscle. How was it, buddy?
Well, like everyone said, and I always say, you're the igniter, you're atomic. It was out of this world. I think the message got there. Everybody knew what it, they felt it. I felt it. I think you have silenced my co-founder, which never happens. So it was powerful.
Thank you, my man. Thanks for the invite too.